I noticed, Lisa, you have the originals.
Yeah.
She didn't hear
That's
me.
That's one of many copies.
Oh, really?
No, I didn't hear.
I have both. I have originals 1 and 2, and I got
Yeah.
it from this dude that sent me this.
Oh, nice.
That's so
that is
cool.
awesome.
So
Very
yeah,
cool.
man, that's
Okay.
awesome.
The thing is, this guy, and it's coming out very soon. I did a documentary for him because he owns the rights to Rocksteady. So he has. I did a Casablanca Records compilation with him, and it's coming out very soon. It's already done. I sent it to him, and he called me yesterday saying that he can't get it on Amazon Prime for some reason. He's having problems, but it is coming out physically.
All right.
Oh, cool.
Oh, hold on. As soon as Rob's video unfreezes, we'll start the show then. Wait.
No, leave him like that. He looks fine.
Am I still frozen?
You're still frozen, man. You look like this.
Yeah. Do the Ralph.
There he is.
Oh, almost had it. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, Wayne, give me a countdown.
1, 2, 3, go.
Welcome to Screams from the Grave. I am the host of the show for tonight, covering for Greg Noggle. This is Lou Mavs from the Music is Live podcast and the Rat Style Review. Joining me tonight, we have 4 very opinionated and awesome Kiss fans. From bottom left to the way I'm viewing it, we have from the Vieira Vaults, the soon-to-be reunited Rock and Metal Combat podcast.
Yes, can you believe it?
I'm very excited about that.
I never thought that would happen.
Is that going to be full-time? I'm sorry, Lou. Sorry.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, cool.
I'm back.
From Thrash or Die and Combat, and from the Vieira Vault YouTube channel.
And the killer cover of Atomic Punk.
And Sammy Hagar Sucks. We have the one and only Dr. Fuck himself, Mr. Ralph Vieira.
Cheers.
Nice.
To his left,
Schmack-a-magob,
Ralph. To his left, we have the very talented, very lovely Lisa Mann from White Crone, who is a musician, well-rounded musician in her own right, not just metal, but blues. Check her out wherever you can. Lisa will definitely ask you later where we can find you, but thank you for joining us tonight.
All right. I'm stoked because, man, this album is in my bones.
Yeah.
It's stuck in there.
I love it.
From Bad Habits, the Thin Lizzy tribute band from Long Island, New York, where Wayne and I are from, we have the awesome lead singer and bassist making his return to Rat Solid Review Network. We have Mr. Jerry Garofalo. Jerry, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
And finally, we have the grand...
Oh, come on. Oh,
wow.
I'm kidding. I love you, Wayne. I only love you at noon, though, not in the evening.
Oh, they should let me at some point, right?
Great. Afternoon
I don't need any introduction, Lou. Forget it.
Yes,
Come
you
on.
do.
Let's
The
go.
Grand
Let's
Poobah of the Rat Style Review Network.
Nobody.
We have Mr. Wayne Doon.
I'm absolutely nobody, Lou. Please.
The grand high mystic ruler.
Nah, Grand Poobah's fine. Tonight we are talking about the second full-length release from the great rock band Kiss, Hotter Than Hell, released in 1974 on Casablanca Records, produced by Kenny Kerner and Richie Weiss. The reason why we are discussing this album is because it truly is one of the most underappreciated, underlooked Kiss albums. And there's actual boobies on the back cover. Anyway.
Yeah, there are. Wait.
Yeah, they're starred out, though.
There's a little star.
Yes. So as I just dropped a little stuff about it on this album, for me, this was the second Kiss album that I ever purchased. And in 1994, when they were doing the Kiss My Ass stuff, the tribute album, first one was Destroyer. That was recommended to me by my eldest brother, Anthony. And I became a Kiss fanatic with Destroyer, and I wanted to go back and get the other albums, and Hotter Than Hell was my second. I loved it, and you know what? Let's just ask everybody exactly what it was about Hotter Than Hell that that made them love the album as much as if they love the album or dislike the album. Lisa, ladies first, please.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I was one of those kid Kiss fans, and I dressed up as Gene Simmons for Halloween, and had fake blood, and I actually went to my cousin's school. They had a big Halloween celebration, and all these girls were dressed as little fairies and nurses and stuff. And here I am with Kiss makeup, spitting blood all over them and stuff. So, I was introduced to Kiss very early, and so actually, Alive 2 was my first album, and that was when it came out, and then I just became a nut. And so this poster was hanging on my wall when I was a kid. It's all torn up. But, I didn't know what any of the lyrics meant or anything when I was the little kid fan. But you know what? I looking back and with, being a musician myself, this album in blues parlance, they would call this greasy. This album is greasy, and there's a lot on here that I kind of wish that Kiss had stuck with into their future.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll talk more about the grease and the songs. There's a lot of good heavy tunes on this record. So that's a lot of why I love this album.
I love that poster behind you, by the way.
I love this so much.
A lot of people
that's
think
cool that you still have it.
It's
a lot
still
of
there.
people think that's enhanced, but that really is them on top of the Empire State Building.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Garofalo, your love for the album or dislike for the album, please.
The thing I love about that album, and most albums from the 70s, is that it's gritty. It's very, very gritty. I mean, it's like compared to stuff that you hear coming out now, that polished, clean sound is so missing and lacking for somebody like me who grew up in like the mid to late 70s and throughout the 80s and stuff. And I'm like you, Lou. My first introduction to Kiss was Destroyer. I love that album for so many reasons. I mean, the thing that hooked me to that album was Detroit Rock City from right out of the gate, because it told like such a cool story to me, as I was listening to it. And I loved the harmony leads that were in that song. And the artwork is just amazing. It's my favorite artwork to date, my favorite album to date as far as Kiss goes. My second album was Alive 2, and then after that I got into the other albums. And Hotter Than Hell, though, was like, when I went back and bought that album and went back and listened to it, the grittiness is what caught me. It was just like, it was just like in your face, mudslinging, like gritty. It was awesome. I just thought, and that's what actually locked me into Kiss as a kid was the rawness and the just, in your face. This is who we are. Go fuck yourself if you don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I just love their attitude, and it showed in their music also.
Yeah.
Mr. Vieira.
Kiss is probably the most important band for me, but not even in my top 10. But let me explain, because I'm such a music fan that there's so many bands that I would put above Kiss, but Kiss was the first band to make me get into hard rock, because I went to my friend's house, he played me I Want You, and I was like hooked right away. I need to get this album. So I ran out to buy it. I couldn't find it, but I found Double Platinum that has I Want You. And man, I'm telling you, like maybe a week or two of living with Double Platinum, I was going out buying Blue Oyster Cult, Black Sabbath, anything that was hard rock. And I thank Kiss so much for it, I had, no longer, but I had the most popular Kiss YouTube channel forever. But like maybe a year ago, I said, look, enough. I wanted to talk about other bands, and it's even gotten more subscribers. But everybody, like today, as we're recording this, it's Wednesday. I have a feature. It's called Kiss Wednesday, where I always put up something Kiss on Wednesday, and Tuesday I do the news. Wednesday I do Kiss. Those are my most popular days on YouTube. I'm reunited with my podcast, Rock and Metal. My co-host was a huge Kiss fan, but he kind of hates Kiss now because every time we do a Kiss episode, it gets like 3,000-4,000 views the first week, and then when we talk about any other band, it's like 1,500, and he gets pissed off about it. And
Ralph,
I'm like,
if I may, oh my God, Keith.
oh my God, Kiss. But my point is, dude, 1,500 ain't nothing to fucking scoff at. That's still awesome. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I tell him, dude, you're gonna let these Kiss fans like taint your love for this band? This band rules, you know. And Hotter Than Hell, I'll get into that. Hotter Than Hell for the longest time was my favorite of the first three. Now it's Dressed to Kill, but man, Hotter Than Hell, the way it sounds like it's recorded in a tunnel. It's really a muddy production, but I feel if you clean up that album, it would suck. Yes. I think the production really enhances those songs, you know. But I'm gonna get extremely Kiss nerdy for you guys now.
Uh-oh.
Bring it.
I would take Coming Home. I'd put that on Dress to Kill, and I'd put She on Hotter Than Hell.
That would work.
Yeah, She has that.
Definitely.
Yes.
She has that sound, wow. And Coming Home is a little too clean for.
Well, you know, they were playing She during their first tour when they were promoting their first album, so that was already in the can.
Right.
You know, before they even recorded.
Well, because that song is a leftover from the Wicked Lester days.
Well, it actually is on the Wicked Lester album with flutes. You know.
Yeah, that's right.
And congas.
That is.
So there you go. That's what I think.
Wayne?
I love it.
What's something I was just going to say to you? Ralph, you do a very good imitation of Paul Stanley.
Paul Stanley of Kiss. It's an exaggerated.
I think he's here.
Slightly exaggerated.
Hi, I'm Paul Stanley of Kiss.
But what got me into Kiss? Actually, I was really late into Kiss when I heard "Unholy." I saw that video on Headbangers Ball, and I was like, "This is Kiss. Kiss can get this heavy. I got to get this Kiss right now." You know, so I went out.
That's my album.
Yeah, I went out and bought Revenge, and I was a Kiss fan ever since. But today, as I was just getting a refresher of Hotter Than Hell, I realized the reason why I like this album so much is because every song, basically, or all my favorite ones off of here, I heard them all as covers first.
Huh.
Yeah. From Anthrax and from that covers album. What was that covers album?
Kiss My Ass.
Kiss My Ass. Yeah. So that was actually the second Kiss album I bought.
They did She on Kiss My Ass though.
Yeah.
Anthrax.
Yeah. Parasite was actually on Attack of the Killer
Parasite
Apes.
was a
and
I'm sorry.
Watching You was a B-side on Stomp 442, I believe.
Yeah. Yep. But a lot of my Kiss fandom started with that Kiss My Ass thing. I mean, some of those bands are kind of, did a couple weird cover versions, but I think that's what really got me into Kiss because I got to see other songs that, Kiss came out with, so, but to find out that a lot of these songs on this album were covers that I've heard from other things, it's, it's kind of weird, but it's a really good album. And as Ralph said, it's a very weird sounding album. It was produced really strange, but yeah, if you remixed it, it'll sound terrible, And it's weird because the coolest thing on this album, the guitars sound like the previous albums on the previous Kiss albums, but the drums, they sound completely different. They sound like you said, Ralph, they sound like they were recorded in a tunnel or just somewhere. I don't know. It's just a very strange, weird sound, and but it works with the music,
You know what I would call it? I think a genius word for it: a poverty production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome though, I mean,
and Ralph, you being like the Kiss expert, is there a reason? Like, how did they record this album? Do you know? As opposed to the last two,
they were in California for this one, where the other two were in New York at Electric Lady. But this one, they were in California. Now, a funny tidbit about this album: the cover, the front cover, Ace Frehley, half his face is
it's superimposed.
Superimposed because while they were in California,
he got into a car accident.
He got in a car accident. His whole face had a big scar and stitches all over his face. Where I actually have pictures of Ace during the photo session with half the makeup on, and you see a big scar on his face.
I've seen that picture too.
And the back cover, an orgy actually did break out. Yeah. And Paul Stanley got so drunk.
Yeah, the front, I think Paul Stanley was being held up by Peter or something.
Yeah,
because he was so fucking
he
because he was so drunk in
ballooning.
the front picture.
Yeah, Peter
Yeah.
Criss actually goes into his what went on behind the scenes in
In the
his
book,
autobiography, and apparently there was something in there that was not very complimentary about Ace, but I'll let you decide what it is and just say read his book if you really want to know.
But speaking of this album cover, this is my least favorite album cover, I think, of all time. It's terrible.
Of all time.
What the hell's going on here? I've
Wayne,
seen a lot of
I
terrible.
love it.
That
Have you
wasn't
ever
even in
seen
your
the
top
album
six.
cover, Hanging in the Balance by Metal Church?
Yes.
You ever seen that album cover?
Yes,
Oh,
I have.
come on.
That's terrible. That's one of them too.
I
Definitely one of
love
them.
this album cover.
I think it's pretty iconic. I love that
It's
album
weird.
cover.
Yeah.
Though. Like, what is this? What is going on with this? What are these
I-
things? Is that
I don't
fire? Is
know.
that supposed to be fire?
Mountains. They're
What is it?
mountains.
Mount? Well, why?
They're
That has nothing to
mountains.
do with anything.
Mountains and
Japanese-
hip high.
It's Japanese imagery.
You know,
Japanese imagery always has mountains, clouds. What I love are the thumbs on the corner.
like-
Yeah.
the green with the
And then they
green.
got the fingers on the back.
It's so
I mean,
great.
that's
I
cool.
love
The back
this.
is cool. The back is cool. The
you know,
front
as
is just
a
ugly.
fan of Japanese culture and anime, I love the album cover, so I'm
I
not
do
gonna
love
knock
that.
it.
It's
I love
insane.
it as well.
I like the Japanese stuff, but just
They
like that,
spelled Ace Frehley.
those mountain things that bothers me. It's like
I
why is it
love-
in the middle?
I
of-
love pretty much every Kiss album cover except for Asylum and Carnival of Souls. The other ones don't bother me. Oh, Monster, which we were talking before. I hate that album cover, but I love that album.
And it's funny because this album actually has the first usage of the Chikara symbol, the Japanese power symbol that Eric Carr would make famous on his drum kits
Yeah.
from
And
'87 on.
Eric Singer wears it on his vest today. He has that, like a patch of it.
Mhm. Oh, two things. So, one, I'm sorry, I was wrong. It wasn't Return of the Killer A's. That was their '99, 2000
Yeah,
compilation.
Attack of the
Attack of the
It was
Killer
Attack of the
Bees.
Killer Bees.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
But- Officially, originally on Nice Fucking EP, which I
Yes.
have the CD.
Mhm.
I think it was only in Europe. That's where Parasite first showed up.
so
I'm such a nerd.
Get out of here, nerd.
So the way I got into Kiss, I mean, when I was growing up, I was born in '80, and the three bands that meant everything to me growing up were Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, and Def Leppard. It wasn't until 1993 when, at the time, grunge was all the rage, but I wasn't into it. I was getting more into the hardcore and thrash and stuff like that. But there was some bands that were popular at the time that I was getting my brother into, like Tool. Ralph, I know you hate Tool, but I am.
But I love people that love Tool.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
I may hate
Wait a
bands,
minute.
but I don't hate fans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was getting my brother into bands like that, Stabbing Western and things like that, and he said, "You know what? I want to take you to." At the time, Nobody Beats the Wiz was the local music chain in
Main
our
Street.
neighborhood.
That's where I got half my collection from.
in Astoria, Queens. And he said, "You know what? You introduced me to a lot of great bands that you like. I want to introduce you to something that I grew up on." So then he pulled out Destroyer by Kiss, and I was just like, 4 dudes in makeup and leather? What's this all about? And I didn't really get it at the time. So then, I bought the album. It was the first album I ever bought. It was the first CD I ever bought with my own money. So I said, you know what? If I'm going to hate it, I'm going to blame myself if I hate it because I bought it. So Detroit Rock City played in heavy rotation for about a week on my Discman. Like, it made me a Kiss fan. And then I wanted to discover more. So, after I got done listening to Destroyer, a couple of months later, I went and got Hotter Than Hell. So it's the second Kiss album that I ever owned. And it's funny because it's such a dichotomy hearing Destroyer first, hearing this overproduced, not even overproduced, but well-produced Kiss album, and then Hotter Than Hell being the next one. And it's like, I think I might like Hotter Than Hell just a little bit more because I love the grittiness of it. And, knowing what I know about the history of the band, again, they were in California, and I believe they were in a rush to release it because they were on some crazy deal with Casablanca where they had to put out 2 records a year. And they still had Kenny Kerner and Richard Weiss, who produced the first album, but the first album didn't capture the magic of Kiss. So they're like, let's try something different. And I don't know, it just, the way that it came out, it just was such such a change from the first album. It was gritty, it was dirty, it was sleazy, and to me makes
Sleazy.
it.
That's the word.
Thank you. To me, it made it, for me at the time, my favorite of the original three. To this day, I still hold Hotter Than Hell in such high regard. And the reason why, if you're a fan of the album Alive, you know that half of Hotter Than Hell is recorded on that, was performed on that album. And it pains me that they barely pay any kind of homage to that album with any of the tours that they've done with the lineup that they have now. I think you're overlooking so many great songs. I mean, it's the album that's got Parasite. It's got Watching You. It's got
what was that? A demon, or did somebody just?
It sounded like somebody's stomach was grumbling.
Is Godzilla about to attack?
That might have been traffic outside my window.
Funny, we're talking about an album that has a Japanese cover, and that sounded like Godzilla right now. But I digress.
Hey, I just ate some sushi, so.
Please, but anyway, though, so, as I was saying, it's got Parasite, it's got Strange Ways, it's got so many great songs on it that I think are completely overlooked, not just by Kiss fans, but the band themselves. And it pains me because Ace Frehley really shines in terms of his songwriting on this album. I mean, you want to talk about an ace in the hole, no pun intended. I mean, two of the best songs ever. And, of course, Ralph's got the Hotter Than Hell Glass. That's awesome.
Thank you, Damien, who got me this.
I mean, there's not one bad song on this album, in my opinion. And, you know, we'll talk more about it. But
Lou, I'm actually, you've never heard of Kiss before? Your friend showed you Kiss?
It wasn't my friend. It was my brother.
Or your brother? You've never heard of Kiss, though, before that? You never, because you were surprised with the makeup. Like, you know, what's this?
I had heard of them, but I had never heard them.
Really?
Kiss was not... See, that's the thing. By the time Dynasty came out, my brother was one of those Kiss fans who felt betrayed because they went disco. Right. So we never bought another Kiss album. He feels that when a band betrays you, you turn your back on them. So he never bought another Kiss album after that. And that's why. But he always held a place for Destroyer in his heart. And that's why, you know, he turned it on to me. Meanwhile, you know, Black Sabbath betrayed me with 13, but that's another story.
Yeah, they betrayed me before 13. Just what they did to Bill Ward.
Yeah. But moving along on Hotter Than Hell, though, Lisa, how would you rate it? I guess in terms of your Kiss albums, like how is it a special album for you? Is it one that you always go back to now? Do you think it's really been completely underlooked by the mainstream?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, it might be, it's one of my favorite Kiss albums. You know, I don't know, maybe it is my favorite Kiss album. I don't know. You know, talking about the production, though, to me, Kerner and Wise were, they had their wheelhouse, and they were asked to go out of that. And it's kind of like, I remember a photographer once did some digital enhancements of a photo of mine. And I said, oh, I just love how you did that, you know. And we did another photo shoot. And then the next time she just overdid it, way overdid it. And it was like, no, let's reel it back. And so to me, it's like, I think they were just the wrong guys for this album, because I would love to hear this same kind of a gritty approach, but with good sounding drums, because I'm sorry, the drums don't sound good on this record to me. It is a moment in time. I think they made some poor choices on song order. I don't know why they opened with Got to Choose. To me, it's like, it is what it is. It's this holy grail. It's perfect in exactly the way it is. But coming at it from someone who produces records, I'm kind of like, well, why did they open with this mid-tempo song? They could have opened with Parasite, you know, you know, just punch you in the face. And it seems to me like if the band was really I mean, at the time, I think the first album sold like 60,000 copies at the time or something before they did this. So I don't know. They didn't have any power. They didn't know what the hell they were doing the first record. So, I mean, if they had Martin Birch or Andy Johns or somebody like that, you know what I mean? If they had somebody that could make a really heavy rock record for them, I think this album would not have been overlooked over time, and I think it would have a very high iconic, like one of the best records in rock history. I think people have a hard time getting past the production value. Right. And they've actually said they can't remaster it because it's just the tracks themselves are just too distorted. It's just the way they were recorded. The gain was just cranking up. But, you know, having said all that, there's something in my heart that just loves, you know, this greasy ass production and this really lo-fi thing that's almost like you feel like it sounds like a bootleg. This album sounds like a bootleg. So, you know, and I just love the songs. And I think that nasty bootleg, you know, it's like Hellhammer, you know, like it sounds like a Celtic Frost.
It's Kiss is a tad at black metal.
Yes.
At dark metal. Yeah, like Sabbath.
Now, let me ask this question, though, Lisa. Is it true that, correct me if I'm wrong, but Kerner and Wise, they were pop producers, right?
Yes.
So
that's from what I understand. That's what they did, and that's what they did well. And so it's like they were, at this time, it was like Kiss was like these two animals fighting with each other, and there's the Got to Choose, or no, there's the Going Blind, the She, there's Watching You, Strange Ways, there's that minor pentatonic Kiss that I kind of wish had come forward. You know, it's like what popped its head up during Revenge, you know, and in Creatures, you know, and then there was the pop Kiss, which was very Beatles, like early 60s Beatles influenced, you know, and Dave Clark 5 and shit like that. All the way
comes across like that.
Yeah. But as a bass player, to me, I love those McCartney-esque bass lines.
Right. Yeah.
They're the best. They're the best bass lines ever.
And so that's why Strange Ways, I think, is my favorite Kiss song.
Yeah.
No, it's not Strange Ways. Which one is it?
It's a good one, too, though.
Which one is it? Which one is it? Thing
Watching You?
All the way. It's all the way. Down, down.
I mean, Going Blind's got one of the best bass lines.
Going Blind. That's what I'm thinking of. Going Blind.
Okay.
Going Blind. That's the one. And he co-wrote that with somebody else. Steve Cornell, is that right?
His former bandmate in Wicked Lester.
That's right. It's Going Blind. Do, 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 do. I love that song because it has that cool, like McCartney-esque bass line,
right,
but it's heavy.
It's a dark one.
It's dark and it's moody and it's got that goofy ass I'm 93 and you know. I love that. I love that song.
They couldn't get away with that song today.
No, not at all.
Most of this shit today.
No, well, that's
it would be canceled.
But
imagine Christine 16 coming out today.
Oh my God! Yeah, right.
The ladies' room.
But the way you just did that song, you might have gave us a copyright strike because you did that like phenomenally. It sounded just like the actual song.
It sounded like the record.
It did.
I think it was.
I think it
she
was
on. Playing it and just lip syncing to it.
Yeah. Is that what you did? But that was awesome.
Jerry, what about you? I mean, like, I personally think that the album's production, as shitty as it is, I think David Lee Roth said it best. Wabi-sabi. It's perfect in its imperfections.
Absolutely. Well,
that's great.
With me, this album falls into the top 5 Kiss albums of my collection, you know. And
your cats, too.
Yeah. She's like pulling at my leg with her claws, and it's like...
I heard the cat say it's my favorite.
But I got to tell you, the whole thing with me and Kiss, I mean, I was a Kiss fan from a very early age, and a neighbor had gotten me into Kiss.
And you were in his tribute band for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I was just, and that was by accident. You know, I mean, I was with a bunch of guys, a bunch of friends, jamming in a studio on Long Island, and these two guys come walking in one day, and unbeknownst to me, the owner of the studio said that I sounded a lot like Paul Stanley, and they were the early incarnation of Kiss Army, and they needed a Paul Stanley. So they came in and they said, you know, hey, you know, and we were doing just cover tunes. I think we did the two Kiss tunes that we did were Let Me Go Rock and Roll and Detroit Rock City. And I was singing both of them. So, you know, they come in and say, oh, we heard you sing, we heard you guys do some Kiss tunes. And we were like, yeah. And he was like, play one, you know, do one that you sing the lead to. And I was like, all right, fine. So we did Detroit Rock City. And afterwards, they like come up to me with these pictures and they're showing me them in costume and makeup and stuff like that. And they're like, you see who's missing, right? They didn't have Paul Stanley with them. And they're like, you know, we're auditioning Paul Stanley's. Are you interested? And I was just like, my first reaction was just like, I can't handle this. There's no way I'm going to be able to handle this, you know? But then I thought to myself, and I was like, you know, what's it going to hurt to try? You know, what's it going to hurt to check it out? You know? So I said, yeah, all right, fine. You know, and he's like, well, we got to see other people and we'll give you a call. That was on a Saturday. They called me on a Tuesday and said that I had the gig if I wanted. So from that moment, every video bootleg that I could get my hands on to watch his mannerisms and his showmanship and how he moves and stuff like that, and to hear different versions of the songs that we're going to be doing live was just scarfed up by me. And I would spend hours at home watching these videos and studying them. And then, of course, you have to go down the rabbit hole also with the records. So that's when I started buying all the albums, you know. I mean, I think like within a month I had them all, you know, up to that point, you know, and we're talking like, you know, I joined that band in 88, late 88. So, you know, I mean, it's like, it's already like, and we were just doing makeup tunes. We weren't doing the non-makeup stuff. You know, we wanted to stay true to like, you know, their tribute because they were still touring with the non-makeup act. So, you know, we wanted to stay true to the makeup side. So we just did from Kiss all the way to Dynasty. And we even did some stuff from Creatures, which some people didn't consider at the time a makeup album because they had changed the cover and put Bruce Kulick on it. So.
Oh, yeah.
So
I forgot about that.
You know, and the way we were going to attack this thing with everything we had. We wanted to like, I mean, every week we would practice once a week, and every week we would like add a new song. You know, so before you knew it, we had all the songs from the first 3 albums done, in the can. I mean, it's like we were everybody's favorite Kiss band because when we would go traveling to another state and we would meet the people that are Kiss fans just like us, you know, like we would hang out and bullshit with them, they would be like, invariably, they would be like, you know, hey, I haven't heard this song in a long, long time. And we'd be like, oh, all right. Yeah, we'll do that for you tonight. And they'd be just like floored by it. You know, it's like they couldn't like fathom. I mean, it's like from this album alone, I mean, well, not for nothing, Let Me Go Rock and Roll on this album was a letdown to me. It was a disappointment to me because I love playing that song live and I love the way they do it on the live. So I think the fact that it was so goddamn short, I was just like, where is it? I was like, what the hell happened? You know? But we would do All the Way. We did Mainline. We did Strange Ways. We did Coming Home. I mean, we did practically this whole album, for Christ's sake, live at one point or another. You know, and not for nothing, it's got to be said, and I'll stand by this till I fucking die. Peter Criss had one of the fucking most amazing rock and roll voices
Yes.
I've ever heard in my life.
The best singer in Kiss, in my opinion.
Fucking
the best vocalist.
I used to love hearing him fucking sing, man.
Oh, yeah.
I love Hula. I love Strange Ways. I love Watching You. I love Getaway. Oh, my God. I mean, his voice is just, like, incredible to me. I love
Dirty
it.
Living. Dirty Living.
Yeah, Dirty Living, too.
Dirty Living
that
is my
raspy
favorite
voice.
song off
I
Dynasty.
bought his solo album just because of his voice.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's that
and to
Rod
today,
Stewart, Bob Seger kind of thing, you know?
yes,
Mhm.
and to
Yeah.
this day, I'll stand by it, and I'll defend his solo album to this day.
I love
I
the
mean,
solo album. I even covered a song in my blues band from his solo album.
which one?
It was Hooked on Rock and Roll.
Love
Hooked
it.
on Rock and Roll.
I will say
covered
this.
it with horns and everything. Blues
Vaccinated
band.
with a big solar needle because I'm hooked on rock and roll. Great
Yeah.
stuff.
I will say this: when I first heard Peter's solo album in '95, I wasn't keen on it because I was more into like the more aggressive, more wilder Kiss.
A lot of Kiss guys weren't, you know.
But
I mean,
actually,
out of the four, it's my least favorite, but it's definitely one that I'll defend. I don't think it's a horror show like people say it is, you know. But then again, I don't think the Elder was a horror show either, like people thought it was.
I love the Elder.
I love the Elder too.
You know
I love
what I mean?
Highlander, and I love the Elder, and I love J.R.R. Tolkien, and I don't care who knows. I don't care. I love that dirty shit.
I have to admit, it was Ralph's Kiss reviews that made me a fan of his, because I subscribed to his channel because he was doing reviews of all the old Kiss albums. And Ralph, this was before I discovered your Black Sabbath reviews. But actually, I think the Hotter Than Hell one was the first one of yours that I watched, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Personally, I think that as bad, if you want to use that term, of the production that Hotter Than Hell has, the songs shine. The songs from that album shine on the live. And to me, like, if you want to hear the best versions of those songs, listen to them on the live.
Yeah.
But Wayne, what about you? What do you have to say about the production of it?
In a moment. But Jerry, since you were in the Kiss tribute band, did you practice Paul Stanley's rants? Stage rants.
Yeah. Dude, I can't say that I was like exactly like, you know, slave to the script, but I definitely like, you know, had, you know, the definite like you know, stuff that he would do. I would absolutely like, you know, it would be Paul-esque. You know what I'm saying? It would be.
Can you give us one now?
In the vein of Paul, you know, like with Cold Gin, the rant for Cold Gin. You know, it's like I'd be like, you know, how many people there like to get high? You know, and how many people like to drink vodka and orange juice? You know, or I'd come up with another fucking drink that you know, like Sea Breeze or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Vodka and orange juice.
Vodka and orange juice.
Listen, if you're gonna walk that line, you have to walk that line, and
you got to go all the way. Yeah,
you have to own it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like it came easy for me, I guess. You know, I can only say because I live in New York, I guess. You know, I mean, I've seen other guys do it from different states that don't quite have it together. You know what I'm saying? But they do the best they can with what they got, you know, and it is what it is, you know. But the thing that was most important to me about being in a Kiss tribute was like I said, to just own the music, especially the music. Just do everything from like the first album all the way up to like, you know, the last Makeup album, you know, that they had. Pick out songs, you know. I mean, it's like, I mean, we used to jam when we rehearsed with the non-Makeup tunes. I mean, it got to the point where we knew all the Makeup stuff and it was kind of getting boring. So we started doing the non-Makeup stuff. And I can remember vividly practicing one day and just picking out Rise to It from Hot in the Shade, which I love. And, you know, when we were doing it, and we did it as a one-off, we didn't even rehearse it. You know what I'm saying? We just did it there on the spot. And it came out so good. I got chills up my back. I mean, it's like the guy that was playing Gene Simmons and the guy that was playing Peter Criss at the time, they had those backing harmonies down that I'll give you fever, you know? And it was just so amazing. I mean, it's like that we could be that tight, I thought. You know, it was so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah, it must have been cool.
Yeah.
But what?
No, go ahead, Wayne.
No, go ahead, Lou. I don't want to interrupt you. No, go ahead, Lou. Just
say,
go.
Wayne?
Go. It's your show. It's your show.
Wayne.
Go.
No, it's not. I'm just filling in for Greg. Wayne, please.
All right, that's right. You are.
That's how we're all wrong.
You are all wrong. This album sucks. Totally bad. See you guys later. Bye. No. This is actually one of my favorite Kiss albums ever. It's just every song on this album. Yeah, every song on this album's awesome. And people say Destroyer is like the Kiss album. I think really this is the Kiss album. If it had a better production, yes. But even with the shitty production,
you guys keep saying better production, but leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone. But I'm saying
the
at the
production
time
is what makes it amazing.
It's like Born Again from Black Sabbath. The shitty production makes it awesome.
Perfectly said.
But if they didn't do that at the time they recorded it, we would have never known it sounded like this. And you know what I'm saying? Like if they would have did it the right way to begin with, then it would still be the same album.
I listen to this album and I miss albums being recorded like this. I miss it.
Yeah. Yeah, so do I. I mean, like you said earlier.
You can hear the sweat pouring down from their faces.
Yeah.
In the music that's being like recorded on this album.
I get tired of the polish and the pizzazz. I want fucking danger in my rock and roll music.
Absolutely.
Me too. But every song on here is awesome. And then, like I said earlier, pretty much every song, well, most of them that I've heard on here were cover songs. Like Parasite, heard that first, like we said before, from Anthrax's Killer Bees album. Going Blind, I heard Dinosaur Jr. They did a really great cover on that Kiss My Ass covers album. Hotter Than Hell, that's not a cover, I haven't heard of. But great guitar intro. I love I just mimic that intro every time because I just love the guitars in that. And Let Me Go Rock and Roll, I think it's a really good song, but it wouldn't be my favorite off of this one.
That was my favorite song to do live.
Yeah.
That and what was the other one? Not Room Service. Love Her All I Can.
Okay.
I used to love doing that live.
One of my top 5 favorite Kiss songs ever.
It's a very cool song. I love those suspended opening chords to like Got to Choose and Love Her All I Can. I think those are great.
The song All the Way, that song, I don't ever hear anybody really talk about that song. I don't think it gets enough recognition.
It's a great song.
It's a great pop song. It's a great pop rock song. I mean, you can't get away from it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites on here. Watching You, another one, awesome one. I heard that one Anthrax did it. We still talked about that earlier from Stomp 4042. Mainline, Peter Criss, awesome vocals on that song.
Great vocals, man.
Yep, I love
he's such an underrated rock and roll vocalist.
Yeah, he definitely is. Yeah,
and it pains me to read the stories that he had to threaten them to let him sing a song. Otherwise, he was going to leave the band. That pains me to no end.
Paul was like bitching about it. I was so disappointed to hear some of the things that Paul has complained about Peter. And it's like, well, there were other drummers around. You could have hired somebody else.
Yeah, but the chemistry wouldn't have been the same.
The chemistry wouldn't have been the same.
Right.
Yeah.
You chose to work with each other. It's like there's no need to be trashing on each other.
I could see both sides, though. You know what I'm saying?
I could see both sides. Believe me.
They were threatening to rip down everything that they worked so hard to build. But with their substance abuse and stuff.
Exactly.
Would their substance abuse had taken effect as badly if they were all getting along a little bit better? You know what I mean? Like if there wasn't the animosity and there wasn't the bullying. You don't know.
It's a double-edged sword because Ace and Peter being fucked up on drugs also enhanced the music too. You had 2 straight guys, the 2 fucked up guys, and you mix them together, and there was that danger. It's like you're going over the cliff, and then Gene and Paul grab the wheel and going over here. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I loved about Kiss. You look at those 70s Kiss live shows; they're so organic and especially this era. Like my all-time favorite Kiss video is Winterland from the Hotter Than Hell tour. I mean, they are just so on fire. And Peter Criss is so amazing. Drugs fucked him up later in the 70s, and then he wasn't that good. But man, I listened to that early, the Kiss Alive, man. That's my favorite Kiss drummer right there.
Even the bootleg from 76 Cobo Hall.
That was my first bootleg of theirs.
Even that one, I mean, Peter Criss is just incredible on that. He's all over the place. His arms are and he's not missing a beat either. He's all over the place and he's not missing a beat. They were so dialed in back then. It was incredible.
And I would love because he was a jazz drummer.
Yeah.
You know, he was a jazz drummer, and he approached things a different way than the Cozy Powells of the world.
Right.
And I think it was cool, and it gave them a unique sound. And frankly, the band, I mean, you're talking about the music. We're all here listening. We're talking about the songs and how great the songs are. And frankly, most people don't know shit about Kiss's music at all. All they know is how they look, and they know the big hits.
Right.
And that's it. And they don't know these B-sides, man, and how kick-ass many of these B-sides are, and how kick-ass a lot of the performances are on them either.
Right.
Also, too, the song "Coming Home," probably one of my favorite versions
Very
is on
cool.
the unplugged.
The
Yes,
unplugged version, that
MTV.
is
Very
great.
cool version.
That was awesome when they all joined in on that. I thought that was really cool. And
I love
Strange
the
Ways,
version of Going Blind on that too. That was a really good one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that whole Kiss unplugged thing was awesome. Really.
But for me, as a guitar player and as someone who has stated in the past that Ace Frehley was his favorite member of Kiss, Strange Ways, just when I heard that, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I mean, I knew Kiss was sleazy, but to me, it was like a whole different level of sleaze with that song. And I mean that
cool.
in the best way possible. The crazy thing I heard about that song was that Peter Criss said he wanted to do a drum solo at the end of it. And is that accurate? He did do it.
It's about a 7-minute drum solo in the middle of the song, and he threatened to leave the band if they took it out. And then when he left, they're like, take that shit out. They took it out, and then he's like, you bastards. He go, you gonna leave the band? Oh well, I guess not. But
I'm gonna listen for the surgery.
But it was recorded now. I don't know if it's been scrapped, but man, if it wasn't, I would love to hear that version with the drum solo.
Probably tossed it, man. It's a piece of
Yeah,
tape.
probably-
What you can do?
Yeah.
Probably the most difficult out of this world solo that Ace has ever recorded to tape. I mean, to this day, it's like I've heard other bands play that song. They can't capture that same flame that Ace did in the studio when he recorded that. I can't even figure it out.
Dude was like playing 13s and shit too, wasn't he?
I mean, he was
big fat strings and
one take.
That was one take.
That was one take, and also that song was written basically on the spot. They needed the song, and they just Ace. I got this riff, and that's how it happened.
We're talking about Strange Ways here, right?
Yeah. It was
Didn't they reverse? Didn't they reverse that lead or something to that effect, or had it like? I know it was heavy flanged, but it sounds almost like some of the lead was reversed.
It does, yeah, but I never read or heard that it was reversed, but it does sound that way. I agree.
Well, personally, I think it's I don't know. Like I said, it's perfect in its imperfections. The entire album.
And I love that Ace always has that in his set list.
Yeah.
He always plays Strange Ways,
and he does a killer job. So let's just say some things.
It's probably Ralph never went.
About what?
Well, we're not, the show is far from over. We could talk about this all night.
Far from over. How much longer you want to go?
Hey, I'm hosting, bitch. Shut up. Anyway.
this isn't a.
It's
what
getting
is your
real,
show called
folks.
again? Music is what?
One monkey don't stop no show.
Of course, I want to hear
One
what
monkey
Dr. Fuck
don't
has to say
stop
about
no
Kiss.
show.
Well, it sounded like you were ending. I'm like, geez, he's leaving Ralph out. What a dick.
No, you'll know when I'm there.
I mean, are we going to talk about like the tracks in order, or are we just talking overall, an overview?
Whatever you like. I mean, first of all, if you want to hear Ralph's track by track,
fuck him. Let's go.
Wayne, I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna crazy glue a toupee to your head. All right, stop it.
Now I'm leaving. You suck.
And you swallow. Anyways.
Whoa! Wow. Zinger.
Sounds like a rehearsal of bad habits.
I gave up Nate. I gave up Nate for Lou. I did a great job.
Was that sarcasm, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, dweeb. Anyway, I'm sorry. Of course, I want to hear what you have to say about it.
Well, I have one thing to say about this album that everybody will disagree with. I don't hate the song, but I'm not so crazy about "Got to Choose."
I love it.
Love it.
I like it way more on Alive, but honestly, I'd rather have All the Way on Alive, but I know I'm the minority, and most people love Got to Choose. So who the fuck cares what I think?
Well,
I just don't like it as an opener. I don't think they should have opened the album with it.
It is. It's a slow opener.
And I got a problem
like
with Coming Home.
Doesn't
I have a
bother me
problem
at all.
I have a problem with Coming Home being on the album. I'd rather it be on Dress to Kill.
I could see that.
I just don't think it fits that production where the rest of the album does. Like, if you put that on Dress to Kill with that more polished production, it would have shined so much more. That's how I feel about it, you know.
I could see that song going on right after Anything for My Baby, or even
Yeah,
sandwiched
yeah,
right between that and Come On and
Toward
Love
the
Me.
end.
It's almost
the
a
end.
Birds song. You know, it has this
But
Birds kind of feel to me.
Birds?
Yeah, the Birds.
Yeah, it does have a jangly guitar, like
Yeah,
similar
that
to like what was
jangly
going on in
guitar
the 60s.
thing.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
Ralph, forgive me, but is it just the song itself that you're not a fan of, or is it just?
I don't really. It doesn't really do much for me, though. At the same time, I mean, it's not like Read My Body. I mean, it's a pretty good song, but it's wedged in with an album that has so much better songs. And and again, I got to stress, I know I'm in the minority, and many people will disagree, and I respect everybody's opinion. I just feel like there's so much better songs on the first three albums that could have fit on a live. I'd love to hear "Let Me Know" on Kiss Alive, or
we used to teach that too. That's awesome.
I love "Let Me Know." I love that song.
Brilliant song.
I love that
That's
song.
a great song, and I love the way they did it live. I love the way they did it live.
Yeah, and that you got the best, whatever. I love that version. You wanted the best. You got the best, and but I mean. It's a minor complaint because the album as a whole is awesome, and Parasite, like Lisa said, that would have been a great opener. That would have been a fantastic opener, and that song is so awesome and so ace. I would have loved Gene
I think
did
that's why
awesome.
it didn't open. That's probably why. It's like, this is my song, and we need to start the album with this song.
I don't have a problem with that song. I really don't. I love the suspended open chord, man. I think it's such a cool thing, and the way the guitar was, produced and recorded. It's a nice tug, like that first chord that. I love it.
Eases you in.
I
It
do love
eases
that.
you in, and that's an approach.
I just think it's so
Ease
cool.
you into an album with the first song.
So Ralph
But
is
for
wrong
Kiss,
again.
I want.
No, I get it. But they come
beginning.
back with that right after that song. They come out with the Parasite, and they punch you right in the face with it. So it's there.
No matter how much you try to moderate a show about Kiss, you can't amongst Kiss fans. You just can't.
See, Ralph, we all think you're wrong.
No,
That's great. I like being odd man out.
Opinions are never wrong.
That's right. I mean, you know what? It's like you guys are right about. I always like when somebody says to me, if I was to say, "Oh man, Got to Choose rules," I always answer by saying, "I agree with you 100% that you think that." That's what you gotta say. It's like I'm not offended that you guys like a song I dislike, and I don't really dislike it.
That's stupid. If people get offended about that.
Oh well,
and in Kiss's defense, when they released "Dress to Kill," they came back with like a killer opening song. Room Service.
Oh my God!
That was a killer opening song for that album.
I love that song. I love that whole album.
They may have dropped the ball on Hotter Than Hell, but they came back strong with "Dress to Kill." So
I love it. I love Dress to Kill.
They can be forgiven.
There's the three albums I listen to most from Kiss is Dress to Kill, Rock and Roll Over, and believe it or not, Unplugged. Those are the three I listen to the most. Then I would put like The Elder fourth, because I love The Elder. I love listening.
The Elder.
We gotta do The Elder one day. I love that.
Well,
count me in if you do The Elder.
Here's an unpopular opinion. The Elder lineup is my favorite Kiss lineup. So I know that doesn't agree with a lot of people, but that's okay.
Cool though. That's fine. I mean, when was the first time you heard Kiss, Lou?
It was 93. It was when I bought Destroyer.
Oh, okay.
But when I was 14 for my birthday, the same brother bought me 3 bootleg Kiss concerts. He got me Winterland, he got me Cobo Hall 76, and he bought me 1980 Unmasked. And as much as I love what they did
Is
with
that the one from Australia?
yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
as much as I love what they did with Peter, and I agree that, you know, probably the best singer in the band, and his drumming, especially on Winterland and at Cobo Hall, that breakdown that he does during 100,000 Years, probably one of the best drum solos I ever heard.
Amazing.
There was just something about Eric Carr that, as a fan, it hit me harder. And I'm thinking, is it because he's passed away, or is it because, you know,
No, I think the difference between Peter Criss and Eric Carr is that Eric Carr was more of a straightforward rock and roll drummer.
This is
What
true.
it was.
Yep.
You know, I mean,
John Bonham type.
yes. I was just going to say he had the same background as the rest of the guys. They had that Zeppelin background. They had the Beatles background. You know what I mean? And he had that same background. He wasn't, you know, Peter Criss was like Gene Krupa and like some of the other jazz musicians that you guys, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean,
Well,
I
Gene
think that was the only
Krupa
difference.
was,
And it just so happened too that Eric Carr had the same type of chemistry with the band that Peter Criss did. It was just a different style of drumming. You know,
What were you saying, Ralph? Gene Krupa, what?
He was
Gene
his drummer.
Krupa was Peter Criss's teacher.
yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Greg, Ralph posted the photo of it, and I was just like, "Oh my God, this is a great
Wow.
find."
Oh shit.
But you know, it's funny as a musician and as a fan of Kiss, it makes me happy to know that here we are discussing their musicality, because that's something that completely gets overlooked. I was having a conversation with my wife about it yesterday, and she's so funny. She's like, "Lou, what's that line from Come On and Love Me?" I said, "Oh, she's a dancer or a romancer. I'm a Capricorn and she's a Cancer." She's like, "Yeah, you're gonna tell me that holds up with anything that Paul or John wrote?" I said, "Yes."
I agree. I think it's great.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's-
yeah.
Yeah, I know,
Because
right?
You, yeah, yeah.
Because it's
yeah.
fun. It
I
doesn't make itself too
love
serious.
those lyrics. Those lyrics are so, you know, non-disguised. It's just straight in your face. I love that
Yeah.
shit, you know?
A lot of
And
the
then-
lyrics, I gotta say, on this album, a lot of them, they don't make no sense,
Mm.
and you know, but they roll off the tongue. That's the thing, and I
No
think
pun
that's
intended.
what happens when no pun intended. But there's a way when you're writing songs on the spot, and you're in the studio, and they're like, you know, it was 4 months since your last album. We're flying you out to fucking LA, and you're gonna write some new songs. And they're like, oh, okay, you know, and they're just, you know, everybody else is here watching you. You know, let's just, you know, make some lyrics. You know, so they sound cool.
Well, you know,
They
look at Van
sound-
Halen, for Christ's sake. You know, Van Halen was the same way. I mean, nobody, you know, they put out how many albums with David Lee Roth? Nobody knew what the
7.
fuck that guy was talking about.
Yeah,
And
Nobody
nobody
had a clue
cared.
what the hell he was
What
talking
about
about.
Let's Go Rock and Roll, baby? What are
But
they
that
even
was-
singing? Baby got the feeling, baby, watch the show.
Baby's got the feeling,
won't
baby
you
wants to
tell
shout.
me, baby, rock and roll. It's just like
See, that
they're
makes-
just
Yeah,
making
but-
shit
You know
up.
what?
Sense. That
It's-
makes more sense to me than a song like Little Guitars.
But
And
it
I
sounds-
love Van Halen.
It sounds cool. That's all. It does. It's like onomatopoeia. It just sounds cool.
Well,
Deuce is the one that you got to go, what the hell?
Yeah.
You know, those lyrics, you know, it's like, what, worth the deuce? What the hell does that mean, you know?
But it works. That's the
It's-
thing. It just works.
Get up and get your grandma out of here.
It's the best Kiss opening song ever, in my opinion.
We haven't heard from the Poobah yet. Come on, Wayne. What do you?
What?
And
Well,
I'm going to
just,
freshen my drink.
no, I was just gonna say, like, you know, where's Rob? Oh, he's going to get a drink. Okay.
Yeah, when I talk, he leaves.
That-
Diet.
He's not interested in what you have to say.
I mean, like, you know, it's funny because I know that now you know how I got into Kiss, and I understand how you got a Kiss, and
Yeah, pretty much
And-
the same way almost.
and you know, Revenge being your album. But I mean, where do you think? And I'll ask you this question first. Like, where do you think like Hotter Than Hell stands in terms of like the echelon of Kiss albums, like in terms of the importance of
I told you
to
that
Kiss
when
fans?
I did my little review of it. I said it's one of the best Kiss albums, I think.
No,
Like I said
I
before,
know you said it was one of the best Kiss
Destroyers.
albums, but
Everybody thinks Destroyer is the best one, but wow, What?
Well,
It's up there with like one of the best
Ezra
ones,
Miller.
man.
Okay. For example, like, do you?
It's better than Destroyer. I'll tell you that.
So, I mean, would you say that it should be people's gateway album? Do you think it should be the album that from Kiss that you think people who haven't heard them before that they should get into first?
I would say so. Because
you know what? If I had to
get
pick a
used
gateway
to-
album, it would probably
Jerry,
be
I asked Wayne.
All right.
I know
All
Jerry.
right.
This is not the Jerry show.
No,
All
it's
right.
not by any means.
He's enthusiastic.
Who's
What was I even saying? Oh, but see, you know what? See,
gateway album?
right. So if you start like you see how we started, Lou, on a later album, and we went back in this album with the crappy production, we're like, oh, yeah, kind of sucks with the production. If they start with this album with the shitty production first and then move on to better production albums, I think they would appreciate this one a lot more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But like I said,
Yeah, no,
every song on this album is good.
Wrong,
So
wrong.
that's why I think if somebody starts with this album, I think they'd be good to go.
All
I
right.
can't think of a song that I don't like. And also too, I wanted to say, I have a friend, and I have one friend.
a friend.
Yeah, a friend of mine. His father actually
Human or animal? No.
I think he's a human. His father went. I forgot where he was. He was in the city or something like that. And he goes into some building, and gets into a elevator. And he was in an elevator with Kiss. They all walked in. He hated Kiss. He didn't like Kiss whatsoever. And he told me that story. And I'm like, didn't you ask him any questions or anything? He's like, no, I don't even like Kiss. I hate Kiss. How could you like Kiss? It's like, are you serious?
I'm sure he's a closet fan if he was bragging that
No,
he
he
was
was-
in an elevator with Kiss.
He was not a
Well, it's
closet
pretty
fan,
interesting
of
to
course.
be in an elevator with Kiss, even if you don't like Kiss.
I know. I'm like, how could you not have anything to say?
It's like, there was a circus clown and a tiger and, a carnival barker, and we all got in the elevator,
The one,
You'd remember
only-
that.
the
Yeah.
only time I ever got to see Kiss in concert was on their farewell tour. And when I say farewell tour, I mean 2000 at Jones Beach.
Yep.
So even though people say, "Oh, that was the worst that lineup ever performed,"
It
for
was.
me, I'm sure it was, but for me as a fan, I was just so happy to see the original four together.
Because it was
Me
the
too.
first time, right?
I saw the first
Yes.
reunion tour. The
Yeah,
first
that I
reunion
saw.
show.
That was
Out
actually
Tiger Stadium.
my-
I came all the way back to New York to see 3 of the 4 shows.
I
Yeah.
flew to New York and I saw 3 of the 4 Madison Square Garden shows for free because I knew a girl. My great friend Eve, since 1983, we're still close. Her boss owned Skybox seats, and they treated us like kings. I mean, we had liquor, food. Then an usher would take us to our seats. It was like we were a cablanche that night. And then I saw the Miami Arena show. So I saw it technically 4 times. When I saw the Miami Arena show, it was a perfect 10. But there was something about the magic of that New York. New York was Kiss crazy. I remember walking the Village, and I stayed where you're from, Louis, in Astoria.
Cool.
That's where she's from. She's still there. And, yeah, it was magic. But I can imagine what Jerry saw. To see that Tiger Stadium tour.
Yeah,
The first
that was
official,
like amazing to me.
because they did play a show before that. But it was like the weenie roast. It was
Right,
like
karaoke
kinda-
Winnie roast.
But what Jerry saw, they played Christine
Well,
16,
Yeah,
and I think another tune that didn't make the rest of the tour.
I saw him in '96 with that reunion tour.
yeah.
In
that-
1996.
That's what
And
we're
actually, I was living in Seattle at the time, and my husband at the time and we drove to Salt Lake City to see the show.
Nice.
We saw the show 3 times. I think we saw it in the Seattle area. I forget where else, and we saw it we drove to Salt Lake City and to go see it because I had a childhood trauma, and that's when Kiss came to town to Charleston, West Virginia, and it must have been 1979, 78, 79.
79 was the return of Kiss.
Okay.
That's
And-
the first rock concert I ever went
And my dad wouldn't let me go.
to. That's
And
trauma.
he wouldn't take me. My dad wouldn't take me. And I was such a fucking Kiss freak as a child. And I knew all their birthdays and everything. I just knew Gene's got a fish named Mo, and he's dating Diana Ross. And I was into all, I just fucking knew everything about. I was obsessed with Kiss, and I had posters all over my wall. And so when he wouldn't take me to that concert, it was like the trauma of my life. And I, he was an asshole. My dad wasn't my bio dad. He was an asshole. And there are some unforgivable things that bastard did. But that was like, to me, emotionally, was like the worst because he knew
Infamia
how much that
disgraziato.
meant to me. So when they came back, when Kiss came back, it was like the return of Kiss. It was like in '96. It was like I am processing childhood trauma by getting in this van and driving to Salt Lake City to see this fucking rock band, and that's how much Kiss meant to so many kids my age, and there's just really something special about this band. Like I said, the music gets lost. People don't, they don't understand, the music, and they just see, they dress like this, a bunch of clowns, whatever, but they were archetypes, they were fucking superheroes.
Right.
And for a powerless little kid with a really fucked up childhood, they took me out of that messed up reality and gave me something. And I was like, I'm going to do that when I grow up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do that when I grow up. And so, you know what? This is what I do for a living because of this. Because of this. Right. This is what I do because of rock and roll, because of Kiss and other bands like, Iron Maiden and Deep Purple and all that stuff. But really, Kiss just gave me something. I think there's just something that if they're not a Kiss fan, they don't understand.
Right.
Yeah.
Just don't get it.
Right.
I don't get
why they don't get it.
I got almost the same kind of story for about yours about the Love Gun tour. No, this is a horror story. My brother, and like you, Lisa, I had Kiss all over my walls. My brother going to Love, I begged him, please let me go with you. And he said, no. And he left. And I'll never forget, when he left, I got so depressed, I went to my room to listen to my Kiss Alive 8-track. He took it with him to the show. I know, exactly.
Dig the knife in, man.
And then years later, I said, Manny, you don't even like Kiss anymore, and this and that. You go like, I didn't want to see you. I didn't want you to see me smoke pot. And I was like I was gonna be looking at you. I'd be watching Ace's guitar smoke instead of you smoking pot. But you know what he did for me? Because I do have an amazing brother who grew up to be a good guy. He was a prick back then. In 1995, he paid for me to see the convention.
That's cool.
And that was $100.
Yeah.
And so, he did make it up for me. But still, I mean, it was a great time, man, all day with a bunch of Kiss freaks. But if I had a choice, I would have loved to gone see the Love Gun tour because that was the most badass stage show they had, man.
No kidding.
And to see them open with "I Stole Your Love" coming down, that would have been amazing to see, man.
Yeah.
I have a similar trauma. So when
He's got
why has got Kiss trauma? What the hell's going on? Welcome to Rats Out Review Therapy.
When Kiss took. Yes, with Dr. Wayne. All right, so your problem is that you're stupid. Sorry, anyways. So, November 98, Kiss was supposed to play at the Garden for the Psycho Circus tour, and my dad wouldn't let me go, and I was so heartbroken because I didn't get to see them in 96 because I was in Greece that summer with my parents. And my brother, Tony, the one that got me into Kiss, is the same one who got me into Black Sabbath because he owned all the Ozzy albums. He said, hey, you know who's coming in February, right? And I was like, no, who? He said, Sabbath with Ozzy. And I said, you want me to get you a ticket for Christmas? And I'll get you your ticket for Christmas. So we both gave each other Black Sabbath concert tickets as each other's Christmas gift. So that was my first concert. So I have so much to thank him for that. And in 2000 was the farewell tour. And I said, you know what? I love my dad. I respect my dad. I miss my dad because he's been gone 12 years right now. But I said, you know what? This is the first time I'm going to break his rule. I'm going to see Kiss. And I did. And yeah, I got yelled at, but I didn't care.
Oh.
I was just
Well,
like,
you got lucky.
At least you got to see Kiss.
You got
yes.
lucky. You got yelled at. I snuck out of my house to see the Heaven and Hell tour, Black Sabbath.
And your pop
And
whooped
when I got home, my dad hit me with a belt so many times. And let me tell you something. It was worth every lash, man. It was worth it. That show ruled.
And let me tell you something. If you never want to get a lash from a Greek dad, an Italian dad, or a Cuban dad, you just don't.
Let me tell you something. You know, Puerto Rican moms are no slouches either. Let me tell you.
My
They're very thorough.
Or Greek moms with a slipper.
I just had the Jewish mom. I worked and I slaved all day, and I go home, and the dishes aren't done, and now I guess I have to do the dishes too.
That's okay. Nobody will care if I live or die.
My dad graduated from a belt to a garden hose. No shit. He broke my thumb with the little gun at the end. He hit me right here, and he broke my thumb. I ran away. I went to the clinic, and they said, "How'd this happen?" And in my head, like I can see the little bubble in my head with my dad's face looking down. I was like, I fell. I was looking
man.
But you know what, man? I'm glad my dad beat my ass, because it really did. Every time he beat my ass, I smartened up a bit. Yeah. And every time he beat my ass, it was for a reason. Back then, I was like, please, God, kill him. You know what I mean? But now it's like, I thank you for beating my ass, you know?
Yeah.
Because it really smartened me up.
My mother was the ass beater in my family, and I never, ever wished any harm to her after she did it. I just felt, it's funny, too, because it's like you're growing up in a controlled environment, and you don't really see other families interact with each other. So, you think you got nothing else to compare it to. So you think that, this is the way it's supposed to be. You step out of line, you're going to get whacked. That's the bottom line.
Jerry, the difference between me and you as a kid is that I was an imbecile. To wish death on my dad, God bless him. He's going to be 86 this year. Wow. 3 triple bypass surgeries in the past 20 years, and he's still kicking ass,
God bless him.
And, man. And my mom and dad are both still here, and I go to see them every single day. I don't know how I'm going to be if they leave, this is my dream, man. I want the world to blow up, so all of us can die at the same time. I don't want to miss anything.
My mom, though, she was the cool rock and roll mom, and she always supported my music. And so, my parents, got divorced, early on. And so I stuck with Kiss through the makeup taken off. And I was one of those, oh my God, they're so cute, in the 80s. And so, Animalize and all that stuff. And so my mom actually took me to a couple of those Kiss shows in the mid 80s. Oh, wow. She loved them too, and she wanted to go too. So
Very cool.
took all my friends, and I remember we were waiting for Kiss tickets in the Tower Records parking lot, and that's back when you had to physically stay in line. And we had this big boat of a car, I don't even remember what it was, like an Oldsmobile, something or other. And all us kids in the wintertime, like, piled in, and somebody had a TV. I forget which tour it was. One of those, Animalize or whatever. Somebody had a TV, one of those little miniature TVs, and they ran a line to the mall where we could, it was like 10 kids sitting on each other in this giant car, and Kiss Meets the Phantom was playing on like
cool.
UHF or something, and we all just sat in there. And for 3 days, and my mom would make like hot cocoa runs. And, would you guys like a little hot cocoa while you're waiting for your Kiss tickets?
That's
and we
awesome.
did Aussie tickets, and that was just. She was really cool. She took me to Dio. She loved Dio. She loved Iron Maiden too. I remember one time I was watching an Iron Maiden live concert, a VHS concert, and my mom comes in. She just sits down, she starts watching and watching, and she goes, "Does he stuff his tights?" Ralph Dickinson. And I said, "No, Mom, that's the real thing." And she sat there and she watched the whole damn concert with me.
Sounds like my mom. Sounds like my mom with Tom Jones. I kid you not.
That
Woo!
here's a fun fact for you. That was the very first music concert I ever went to,
Tom
and
Jones.
it was my mother taking me. I think it was 78. I was 12 years old. It was at the Westbury Music Fair, and not for nothing, he put on a pretty decent show. I thought it was like pretty cool.
The band was killing, man, and he was he's still a killer singer.
Oh, he's got an amazing voice still even now. Yeah,
he made a blues record. It's good.
But
go ahead.
No, I just have one last thing to say about the Kiss thing that I wanted you to go to, Wayne. But like my last day working at NBC was the day that I decided to quit the television industry because my daughter was just born about 3 months prior, and I said, you know what, I gotta look for a job closer to home. I don't want to miss anything of seeing her grow up. And my last day, I'm walking to NBC from Penn Station, and then I pass by the ABC building. Good Morning America is there. And even though it was Scab Kiss, it was awesome to see Gene and Paul there. So the only thing I yelled out was, "I love you, Gene." And he yelled back, "Thank you." So that was right. Wayne, go ahead.
My Kiss trauma is
oh my God, another one? Am I here? I'm the
odd man
out.
But my
I have
it doesn't
another
have
one
anything.
after Wayne.
Oh, jeez. Mine actually has to do with actually seeing Kiss. Unfortunately, it was on that it was my second concert ever. It was on that farewell tour, and I don't know if anybody knows Jones Beach on Long Island.
My favorite venue.
Not mine. I hate that fucking venue.
I know you do.
But anyway, yeah, because you're there. It's on the water, and then when the music plays, you don't hear anything. If you sit all the way up at the top, all over the place.
It got better now, but then it was horrible.
Right. Yeah. But I saw it before they got better, so I was all the way up at the top because I got shitty tickets or whatever. I couldn't hear the drums, I couldn't hear anything. But when I heard Ace Frehley's guitar solos, he was like all over the place. He played terribly, and even the fireworks. I was like, come on, this is a Kiss show, and it was like sparkler was going on. It wasn't nothing that I wanted to see out of a Kiss show, and I was extremely disappointed, especially being my second concert. I'm like, this kind of sucks, and this is why I never went to concerts before, because this sucks, but, it is what it is. And then the next day, I was reading in the paper about that show, and even that, it got a bad write-up because just of how Ace was playing and everything. Just, in general, the band just wasn't there that night.
Yeah, I remember one of those shows, Ace was doing the hammer pull-off things, and he just went twank and like pulled. And at one point, he was like playing the air.
Yeah.
For just a couple of seconds, he was like wasn't even hitting any frets. He was just like totally missing. And I was thinking, who fell off the wagon?
Yeah, that sucked. I always wanted to see Kiss. I figured their farewell tour. I want to see them now. Before they never come back. And but it is what it is.
Yeah, we didn't get a good one on West Palm Beach, but. When I was in junior high, this is my other traumatic Kiss story. When I was in junior high, I went to school. Ace has always been my favorite member, and I had an Ace Frehley shirt. And going home, I got beat up by 3 Led Zeppelin kids.
No.
And what they did was they held me down, they lifted my shirt, and they gave me a red belly, which is just a slap in the belly. And I'm like, I like Led Zeppelin too, and they're like, shut up, you Kiss.
It's like wearing a Rat shirt to an Exodus show.
Yeah. And I'm not alone. So many people got their ass kicked for liking Kiss. I'm one of them. But a lot of people got their ass beat,
I got made fun of in '94 for liking Kiss when Nirvana was the popular band. I said Nirvana sucks. I said it then, I'll say it now. Nirvana fucking sucks. I'm sorry.
I don't think they suck. I think they're overrated. But I don't think
you know what it is? I think at the time, because like everywhere you turn, there was a Nirvana poster, there was a Nirvana video, there was a Nirvana song on the radio every fucking hour, and I just said, I can't take it.
I lived in Seattle at the time, so.
Oh yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I guess
Nirvana, Pantera, Dream Theater, all inspired and influenced by Kiss. Yeah. They were all influenced by Kiss.
I mean, now I can look back and say I respect Nirvana. Now I can look back and say it, but at the time, I think I was just so tired of it being so overexposed.
Yeah, it was oversaturated. Grunge period was oversaturated.
Yeah.
But so was everything. You know, once one thing gets popular, a bunch of copycat bands. Because original grunge, they didn't Soundgarden didn't sound like Pearl Jam, and they didn't sound like Nirvana, and they didn't sound like Alice in Chains. But then you started getting these bands that did sound like Pearl Jam and
starting with Mother Love Bone.
I love Mother Love Bone, though. I mean, that was Pearl Jam before Pearl Jam. And people ask me what my favorite Pearl Jam record is. I tell them Temple of the Dog.
my favorite's always been Alice in Chains.
Mine
too.
So
dark.
Mine too.
Me too.
But it's funny though, because we're talking about Kiss and we're talking about like how they're such a part of our DNA. I mean, think about it. They set the blueprint for the big bombastic stage shows happened in the 80s, and we're talking about the DNA. My first guitar was a black Les Paul, and that was because I saw Ace play one on the Unmasked tour on the video. I wasn't there in Australia. I was -1 years old, but okay, bad joke. Sorry, they can't all be good. Anyways, but I mean, talking about DNA. My first, the Black Les Paul, I got one because I saw Ace use one on the Unmasked tour on video, and I just said that's a guitar that I want. And when I got one for my 20th birthday from my family, I remember the first album that I plugged into and played on that guitar, tuned my guitar down a half step, was Hotter Than Hell, because I just wanted to be able to play like those songs on a Les Paul and just to say, oh my God, I want to bring this to stage. And it made me want to get on stage and play. And, I think we'd be foolish to say that Kiss's influence on us as music fans, as musicians, without them, I don't think that credit could probably be, due to another band, because everything about the package, the look, the music, the stage show, it's part of our DNA as musicians. It just is.
To me, I mean, they really don't even get the credit how influential they are. If you ask me, man, the Beatles and Kiss may be the most influential rock bands ever. I mean, I'm talking about from 70s down. Right. And, Zeppelin to an extent, but Kiss was a phenomenon like the Beatles were. Kiss and the Beatles are the only two bands you can think of where you can name every member in the band.
Yeah.
They're even like the Haters knew Ace, Gene, Peter, and Paul. And Ringo, John, Paul, and George. But they were just extremely influential. And for them, I mean, that's look, I don't even want to get into the talk of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because I've gotten to the point where I'm not even upset with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame anymore. I'm upset for the people that want bands in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But for Kiss to be inducted so late, in the game is ridiculous. It
was definitely a hollow victory.
Yeah. So many bands went in before Kiss that started because of Kiss. It's like ridiculous, So, and that's one thing. Love or hate Kiss. And I say the same thing about people that slam the Beatles. Love or hate them, they did shit no other bands did. I mean, the Beatles changed the world. But
I think it's the fact the kids were into Kiss. And that was something that Ace and Peter did not like. They were like, we thought we were joining Led Zeppelin, and we thought it was going to be hot chicks, jiggling in front of us all night. And instead, what the fuck is all these like 8 and 9-year-old kids with Kiss makeup on? Are we a kiddie band? But, looking at it at the time, it looked like one thing. I remember I went to see Rammstein here in America, and I was like, oh, this is a kiddie band here in America. Because I'd seen concert footage of them in Europe, where it's college-age fans at the time. And so it was, oh, okay, I get it. But then there's something that happens. It's the seed that gets planted, like you were saying. It's so influential at such an early age. It's so many of those kids that went to those shows, and even girls decided to pick up guitars and pick up bass or sing or whatever, or just even become fans of other music later on. I think that's what a lot of people, they still to this day, it's like a stain on Kiss, is that, oh, it was a kiddie band. But it's like, we grew up and that really meant something to us, and then we take our, nephews and nieces and kids, you know, to
What
these
the hell?
shows. What the fuck was that?
What is that? Why am I sitting in the back?
Are we at a Kiss concert right now?
Well, maybe in a pandemic world we are.
No, that looks like more like a Thrash or Die concert. That's how many people go to see us. I'm kidding. We played to 8,000 people in fucking Puerto Rico. I mean, Colombia.
That was that was the COVID version of our little
Put
get.
this on here because where do you get this from? How do I do this?
This is us watching Kiss in Dubai.
Oh shit!
No, you just disappear.
That's what happens when you don't know what you're doing with, like, you know, an app, and you just start experimenting while you're talking, thinking that nobody else is going to catch on.
Wayne, what the hell did you do, man?
I didn't touch anything.
It wasn't Wayne. It was me.
It was you. I thought I saw you reaching for something.
You know what? I think we might.
Yeah,
be
Wayne probably
the
went
end
to
of
a
this.
panic. Like, what the fuck is going on?
I did. I was like, wait a minute. I thought everything just stopped.
Hey, who farted?
I smelled it.
I'm going to talk a little bit about Heaven, Hotter Than Hell. What we were saying before, you know, at one time,
We should have done the whole show like this.
We should have.
Yeah, at one time,
Actually, you should have had the background of the Love Gun. It could have been Lisa. You could have been one of the girls on the
I
bottom.
kind of look like the background.
No, what with no body, just be a fucking.
You could be the head.
you know what I feel like doing, and I don't care. It's my house. I can do it. I feel like walking over there, like I'm walking toward the tree, with my back turned to you guys, and just piss on the floor. It would look so cool with this background. Me peeing at the tree.
Wait, Ralph, what did you
What
want
were
to
you
say
saying?
about Hotter Than Hell, please?
For a while, Going Blind was my favorite. Then it was Watching You, and now it's Strange Ways. But yeah, I love that bass line in Going Blind. And Gene Simmons is such an underrated bass player because he dumbed down his playing later on. But also, if you listen to the runs on Ladies Room, that's some McCartney-esque beauty shit.
Very much so.
He does some very tasteful stuff.
Getaway.
And
have you listened to Getaway?
yeah. No, I was about to say that. I said those first three Kiss albums. Listen to the bass.
Yeah.
There's some good McCartney-esque bass runs he does. That are just beautiful, you know, and you hear it. But in Going Blind, it's really up front. You know what I mean? It's like up front of the whole thing. Strange Ways is my favorite track, man. That's almost a Sabbath-y song. You know?
Yeah.
Super heavy, you know.
Love it.
And I love, Getaway. Well, no, Getaway's on Just to Kill, right? I always get Mainline. Mainline's such a cool tune. I love All the Way. I love basically every song. Got to Choose and Coming Home.
He even likes that song.
Huh?
You even like Got to Choose. You don't hate it.
No, I like Got to Choose. I'm just saying, compared to the other one, I would put it at the bottom with Coming Home, but I still like it. You know what I'm saying? I just don't like it as much as the rest of the world.
All right, so I guess now's the time where we rate the album, you know, out to 10. So, Lisa, what do you give the album?
How can I not give this album? I don't know. I mean, I don't like to rate albums. How can I not give it a 10? I don't know.
That's okay.
You know what? I will give it a 9. You know why?
Why?
Because there are a couple of things that I wish they had done differently. Because from the point of view of somebody who makes records, there's things that I would have done this and I would have done that. And I think, frankly, they had the wrong producer. But producers. I'll give it a 9 because the songs are so strong. And I like the album art. I even like the little mountains that are poking in on the side.
Yeah, me too.
I love the album art. I love the grease. I love the songs. And there's something emotionally, I'm emotionally attached to this album. So I'll give it a 9.
Wayne?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 too. If it had better production, 10. But without the, shitty good production, I'm going to say 9. Because all the songs are good. Awesome songs.
Jerry?
I give it a 9, but only because my Kiss cherry was broken with Destroyer. And that's forever. my like famous, most favorite Kiss album. But I think it's great. I think it's flawless. I think it is what it is because of what it is. You know, it's lightning in a bottle to me. You know, you change any one thing around and it's not the same album. Whether it be production or the order of the songs or just the grit sound that you get from it, you change any of that, it's not the same album. So yeah, to me, it's a solid 9.
All right, Mr. Vieira.
Yeah, I give it the same rating because it's just
because it got to choose.
yeah, got to choose, and Coming Home are probably my only. And let me tell you something. When I put on Hotter Than Hell, I put on I've got to choose. I don't skip a track. I listen to the whole damn thing. And that goes for every Kiss album, all the way up to Dynasty.
Start to finish.
To me, Kiss in the 70s only have 2 songs I disliked. That's it. And that's a great run, you know.
What are they?
I know one of them.
I don't
Hooligan?
think I dislike anyone.
You don't like Hooligan?
I don't like Hooligan, and I don't like
I can
and I don't like Love Theme from Kiss. I love Acrobat.
Oh, that's a great bass lines, dude.
I love Acrobat. Listen to Acrobat. Acrobat has Love Theme from Kiss in the middle, and it just flows well. It's just taking a little piece of Acrobat and putting it on an album, it just doesn't work for me. And it's the worst part of Acrobat. Acrobat rules. You ever heard Acrobat?
Yes, and that should have made an album.
I got a quick Love Theme story for you through Kiss Army. You know, the tribute band that I was in. We were doing a show in Maryland, a place called it was in Brandywine, Maryland, a place called Wilmer's Park, and they had mostly outdoor shows and stuff like that. But this one day it was raining, so they had us indoors, and it was this very like hot and stuffy barn. And we're going through our set. We played like maybe 2 songs, and all of a sudden, the PA went dead. You know, all the power went out of the PA. All you could hear was the back line. That was it. And we kicked into Love Theme from Kiss.
Oh, cool.
And let me tell you something. We ruled that state from that moment on. Every time we went there, everybody was like packed to see us and stuff because we played that song. That song's like amazing. And you want to hear some like weird fucking karma? The minute we were done with that song is when the power came back on for the fucking PA.
Oh, wow.
So this is like an amazing night.
The show.
It was awesome. Love that song.
I have to give Hotter Than Hell a 10 out of 10. Sorry, I love the album, what it meant to me, and what it did for me, and 10 out of 10. That's all I can say.
Right on. I mean, you can't go wrong with Kiss, man.
It's a love thing.
You just can't.
Yeah, well, at least the 70s.
Yeah, 70. I'm telling you, 70. They were just so on fire, man. Hungry band.
Yes.
You know?
Definitely. Well, Lou, you did a fantastic job on this, by the way.
Thank you. I did the best that I could, but I couldn't have done it without the amazing panel that I have before, or should I say next to and behind me at this point.
I'm sweating here. You know what? I think Lou has only got the shady part in this part. Look at him.
He's all dark. We haven't seen him the entire time.
We're out here in the sun.
Lights like I got here.
Is that demographic still up?
Hey, listen, I have to be a good Greek boy. I need mommy to be proud of me. Anyways.
You should be used to this weather, Ralph.
No, I'm just making a joke because it looks like Lou's in the shade.
No, I know.
You know? It'd be cooler if we were all sitting on, at the park on Kiss Me Phantom, sitting there.
Yeah, there you go.
Or we're all on the roller coaster.
Side note: I love that movie because of how bad it is. It's just, it's like.
I agree.
It's like I am wearing a Toxic Avenger t-shirt right now, so I am definitely a fan of bad films. If I'm wearing a Toxic Avenger t-shirt, I have to be a fan of Kiss Me Phantom.
We're on a Trauma Pictures, are you, Lou?
Are you aware that I crowdfunded the second film, so we both have our names in the credit of Return to Nukem High Part 2?
Awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, my music's in both those movies. I'm so proud to be in a movie that Lemmy was in.
His last film. Yes, absolutely. All right. So, as I was saying, I really want to thank everybody for joining us on this special edition of Screams from the Grave. Let's go around and ask everybody where we could find what they're doing. Lisa, where can we find you and what you're doing?
Well, you find Lisa Mann is a blues artist, and I love blues. But I also have a heavy metal album,
which I love and own.
White Crone. So White Crone, Crone, and you can find me on Bandcamp, whitecrone.bandcamp.com. It's very old school classic metal influenced by Dio, Maiden, Merciful Fate, female vocals, lots of heavy bass guitar, and I even have Vinny Appice featured on a song. So check it out.
Nice.
Lisa, don't you play everything on there except drums?
I do, except ex-Glacier guitar player Mehdi Farjami did 2 guitar solos, but the rest of them I did. So I taught myself how to play guitar just so I could make this album.
Cool.
So,
and if that's not proof that
male guys, this girl is talented.
And if that's not proof that you can't do anything unless you put your heart to it, I don't know what is. Lisa, you're fucking awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And a fantastic voice. That voice, it's very powerful on that album. I love that album. Pretty much almost every week I play a track from it on my radio show.
Thank you very much, man.
People dig it. People dig it.
And everybody go please subscribe to Lisa's YouTube as well.
Yes, please do.
Jerry, where can we find you?
March 20th is the only gig we have solidified right now. That's the live stream show that we're going to have for St. Patrick's Day at Paradise Studios. And we're looking to reach people out in Europe as well as here in the States. We want to get people from Ireland and everything to come see the show. And that's basically why we're doing it. I think the show starts at 3. Mm-hmm. And that means that people in Ireland be able to see it at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or something like that. So, that's basically what we're doing. It's all Thin Lizzy stuff, so if you're a Thin Lizzy fan, check us out because we do, I take the same approach with this band. I'm trying to, at least, that I did with the Kiss Army. I'm trying to get some stuff that real diehard Thin Lizzy fans would be into listening to. So
I have a weird favorite Thin Lizzy song. I'm a huge Thin Lizzy fan, but my favorite Thin Lizzy song is "Leave This Town."
"Leave This Town" is a great song. I love that song.
It's not, and I just love the fuck out of that song, man. It's so
what
good.
What album is that on?
That's
Renegade.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love Renegade.
I love that
Renegade.
whole album. I can't think of
so
that
good.
Song. What does that song sound like?
I'm gonna leave this town. Gonna leave this town tonight. Gonna leave this town. All right.
Oh, yeah. Great.
I gotta help myself from getting busted. Yeah. Such a good.
It's a great melody. It's very cool.
And as I mentioned on the episode that Jerry and Bad Habits were featured on, I've seen a couple of bands do Thin Lizzy. I've watched a couple of Thin Lizzy tribute bands. Jerry's band, Bad Habits, is the best one that I've ever seen do it live and on video. I'm really honored that I'll be doing sound for them on March 20th. Jerry, again, thank you for that opportunity. Looking forward to it.
It's that's the reason why we do this stuff. It's at least me speaking personally. That's the reason why I do this stuff. It's because of the way you thought that we were so great. That kind of respect is just amazing to me. I love it.
I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Forever.
Hey, you guys know I have a traumatic Thin Lizzy story. I really do. I really do. 1979, Thin Lizzy played the Miami Highlight. Me and my friend were going to see Thin Lizzy at the Miami Highlight. On that day, we went to the beach. He pissed his dad off, and we didn't go because and Gary Moore was in the band. It was Black Rose.
What's it with dads not wanting their kids to go to concerts, man?
No shit.
I don't get it.
We were a pain in the ass back then.
I guess.
Yeah, I'm happy to say that my dad made up for it because when I graduated college, he got me a 91 Ford Explorer. Granted, it went 8 miles to the gallon, but I said, Dad, why'd you want to get me a car? And he said, I know you want to do the music thing. I know this will help you get your equipment back and forth. So my dad, even though he didn't let me see Kiss, he did believe in my music. So
And that's even better.
Yeah. I was really grateful for that. Mr. Vieira, where can we find you, sir?
Well, you can't find me near any elementary school because of a law. And they got this thing. But I got exciting news. My very first record from Thrash or Die is finally coming out on vinyl. It has sold over 8,000 units, and now it's finally coming out on vinyl. Cool. I am back on the greatest podcast known to man, Rock and Metal Combat Podcast. It is the best. It has the most fanatical. My podcast has such a fanatical fan base that every rockin' pod, we go, we fly there, we have food, we have liquor, and we have a hotel stay, all because of our fans, because they all pay for us to go. And you know, I got a co-host that's funnier than me, and you know I'm fucking funny, but this guy's funnier than me, and he's an alcoholic and he's fun, and I'm back on that. I'm still doing the Vieira Vault, and you know, my most popular thing I do online is the Almost Human channel, which is I think it's like 21,000 subscribers now, something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I mean, the combat is going to get back together. Oh, and I'll be, hopefully, fingers crossed, be doing a cover of Black Widow.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
Very awesome.
From Alice Cooper.
If I could just say one thing, you know, Wayne, I always give you praise because you were the first one to believe in my podcast and have it on Ratsal Review Network, and I'm really proud to be on the show with you, so I'll always thank you for that. But
yes.
Ralph, you're the reason why I even started a podcast in the first place.
Wow, thank you so much, man.
I just want to say thank you, and thanks to Wadzilli and Wadley for pretty much like setting the foundation with Rock and Metal Combat Podcast for me to want to say.
Twister.
It is, but it's also like 11 o'clock at night and I'm exhausted. But
yeah, I have to be up in 5 hours.
Like, and you know,
I'm off tomorrow.
Lucky bastard.
I don't have a job. I'm retired. I get a pension check.
Lisa don't have a job either.
But you know, like, I don't think I'll ever be great in terms of like the chemistry that you guys have. But you know what? I do what I do because guys like you love what you do, and it makes me want to do what I do. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Lou. And I am honored that I was on a track with you doing a Van Halen cover. I thought you kicked ass.
Thank you very much.
And the drummer's sexy.
Oh yeah, he is.
By the way, Wayne pointed something out to me about that video. He actually dropped a drumstick.
Nobody noticed.
I didn't notice it.
Nobody noticed.
Well, I wasn't looking.
Well, if you watch it back, you see me drop a stick, and then it looks like I keep playing, but I don't. It's funny.
Yeah, and when he pointed it out, I was just cracking up at how hilarious it was.
I was like, should I just go back and fix that? I was like, nah, just leave it in there.
No, leave it. It's perfect in its imperfections.
Yeah, that's look.
Lightning in the bottle. Like I said about
the album that's coming out finally, my first album, the first track's called Fatal Fury. And I have only, in the history of me recording albums, I've only done 2 songs where I had to do another take, because everything I do is one take. That Atomic Punk was one take. But Fatal Fury, my voice cracks really bad. And then we heard it back, and I was like, keep that in. It's so funny. It's so real, you know? So my voice goes, Grr! I was like, leave that in there. Leave that in there. I love it. I ain't going to redo it. That's one take. That's it. Because I love imperfections, you know? Because it's human.
Exactly. Well, almost human.
Almost.
Wait.
There's going to be plenty imperfections on when I finally get my album done. Leaving it all in there.
Yes, Wayne, please. What are you doing now, and what would you like to promote?
Nothing, Lou.
That's it. That song you sent me was really good. Is that a band?
Yeah, well, it's just me, my friend, and some singer that we found here.
It was really good. It had this power metal Halloween-ish type feel to it. I dug I didn't want to. I wanted to say that sucked, man.
I was hoping
like,
you would,
"Ah."
but I was surprised.
Yeah, and I listened to it and I was like, oh man, it's good.
Well, there's 7 more, so maybe you won't like the other ones.
All right, fingers crossed, man. I'm hoping
All
that's
right.
the only good track.
It probably
And I'm saving myself for last because hopefully this will be the last you'll hear anybody talk for the rest of the episode because we're trying to wrap up here. But anyways, I want to thank everybody.
But I have one more trauma story. No.
I want to thank everybody for joining me on tonight's episode of Screams from the Grave, where we covered Hotter Than Hell from Kiss. You guys are nuts. If you want to find out more what I'm doing, please check out the Music is Life podcast, available on all streaming media platforms. And also find me on YouTube at Music is Life podcast. Please like, subscribe. And also you can find me weekly with Wayne and Greg Noggle on the Mothership, the Ratsai Review show on Ratsai Review Network. And please do not forget to check out some of the other great podcasts on the network, including The Air Vault, Suck My Balls, the South Park podcast, The Right Opinion. I know some people may not be a fan of that show, but it is on the show. But hey, we love all of our podcasts.
I felt left out.
And I can't see none.
Good man. He subscribed.
Oh, very cool. And we also got Beyond Bushido with James and EA and countless others. We got Old Man Metal. And is Timo Tolkien back?
I don't know.
I don't think
Timo Tolkien knows.
Anyways, on behalf of Greg Noggle, I'm sorry, Wayne, go ahead. Rob, go ahead.
No. Come on, let me shut up. Let's finish this. I'll keep going. All right, I was just going to say real quick. Is Stradivarius still a thing?
We don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
It's just not with Timo. He's been out of that band for a long time.
Okay.
They carried on without him.
On behalf of Greg Noggle, who couldn't join us tonight, Greg, we miss you. Thank you for watching this episode
Greg.
of...
He didn't want to be part of this. Fuck him.
What happened to the love in this room?
We're outside, Jerry.
Yeah, we're outside. We don't need to worry about that.
The Bronx Cheer owns all. Anyways.
Are we actually too close to each other to not be wearing masks? Should we be wearing masks?
Yeah,
we're not social distancing. Shit.
Oh, shit.
I wasn't covering my mouth and nose for nothing,
Oh, I got COVID again. God damn it. Thanks, Jerry. Anyways.
I'm feeling a little headachy here. Hey, fingers crossed, man. Next week I get my vaccine.
Right on. I'm getting number 2 on Monday.
Oh, cool. You already got the first one.
Yep.
I'm getting number 2 in a couple of weeks, so I'm happy about that.
A lot of people get sick with that number 2, so be careful.
I'm going to wait for it to come out in 6-packs.
Just remember, look out for number 1, but don't step into number 2, everybody. Anyways.
I'm going to do a number 2 at that tree over there.
Is that grass?
I did one right here. At least you haven't smelled it yet.
Yeah, well, he who smelled it dealt it, Wayne. Anyways.
You shrunk, Lou. What happened to Lou, man?
Yeah.
You're shrinking, bro.
Aging has shrunk my proportions. I don't know what to say.
Lisa's shrinking. There's something funky in this forest.
I can see where this is going. I'm going to be a zombie at work tomorrow, so I got to go.
Thanks again, Jay.
On behalf of Greg Noggle, thanks everybody for tuning in to Screams from the Grave on the Ratsai Review Network. Have a great night.
You guys are
come
I love you guys.
What?